Well, hello and welcome to Faith, Philosophy and Life with me, Mr. Shelton. I hope that you're doing well. It's great to see you. And I hope that these sessions are being helpful. Last lesson we looked at Hajj. The session before we looked at the 5 pillars. We're looking at Islam. So go and grab yourself a pen and paper because here's our cheesy intro music. Fantastic, great. So what we are thinking about today is we're going to think about what happens on Hajj a little bit more depth. Last time was kind of like an overview where we sort of got the idea of the pilgrimage. So today our learning objective is to give detail in a written format about what happens on Hajj and why it happens. So our literary objective today is to be creative with given facts. So we're going to give detail a written format about what happens on Hajj and why. It's going to be good if we can describe what Hajj is. Hopefully that's kind of knocked on the head from last time. Great if you can explain why Hajj is an important event for Muslims, and even better if we can produce a piece of work which shows all of these requirements that we're going to talk about. So during today's lesson we've got a review, we've got a sequence, we've got a what's this, a Venn diagram, and then we're going to look at some senses as well. Now, last time we looked at this, and I would like you just to think for a moment about what order were these things that people went in and what happened at these. So what was Mecca, what was Mecca, what was Mina, the plain of Arafat. So have a think of that now, and then pause me and then come back to me when you've kind of worked out what order these are in and what happened. Okay, so it basically goes in clockwise order. So they go down and then back up again, and that's how you get your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got well, let's go through this. So at Mecca, you've got there, they circle the Kaaba 7 times. At Mina, you've got Tent City, as they call it, where they stay. The plain of Arafat, where they stand all day in the blazing sun. Then you've got the pillars, where they throw stones at them, we're representing the devil, and they go back to Mecca, to Mecca around the Kaaba 7 more times before going home again. I thought these were just stunning pictures when I got them offline. It's not somewhere I could ever go because only Muslims are allowed to go to Mecca. But you can just see there that the top left hand corner you've got the tent city where all of it's divided into different areas for different countries. You've got the Kaaba, you've got them standing on the Mount Arafat, and then you've got the big stone pillars there. These are all very impressive things to see, but they're very fundamental to a Muslim's faith as well and central to Islam. So they're all things that I'd like you to be familiar with and aware of as we move through today's lesson. The next thing we're going to do then is we're going to construct a Venn diagram, okay, which is where you've got some information on the left, some information on the right, and then both in the middle. So on the left is going to be Hajj, things that only happen on Hajj. On the right is going to be things that only happen at Old Trafford. And in the middle are kind of the links in between. Now you might say, I can't really see where you're going with that, Mr. Shelton. It's not very sensible to make that link. Well, actually, I disagree. I've got a clip that I've got from BBC Bite Size, which I'm going to show you now. What I'd like you to do is to watch this, and this will take you through some information about Hajj and Old Trafford. And what you do under Hajj, you write things that are only at Hajj. Old Trafford, you write things that are only at Old Trafford. And then you write down how they're similar in the middle as well. And let's see how many things you can get in each part of that Venn diagram. So pause me where you get that written. The moment you unpause me, hopefully this clip will start.
I've been a Muslim all my life. Muslims believe that there is only one God, which is Allah, and their prophet is Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he's a messenger of Allah. Allah's with us all the time. He watches us and hears us and everything we do in our life has something to do with Islam. 5 pillars are essential to Islam, and Hajj is the 5th, and you go on Hajj only if you can afford it and you're fit enough to do it. Hajj is pilgrimage, and we have to go to Mecca to do it. I was quite scared when I went to do my Hajj because I knew that many people died down there, but what I did know is that God's going to help me get through this. Atmosphere was just beautiful. Everyone was just there, and you know that everyone's there for the same reason. It really makes you feel that God has actually chosen you to come and worship Him.
My God for me is Manchester United as a team. I support Manchester United by going through most of the football matches, home and away. My first ever match was when I was about 5 years old. You know, I was really scared for the first time. There's loads of people around me and I wanted to go home. You become part of something when you first go to your football match. You thought, yeah, I've become part of the group, or you've been christened or something. When you can see Old Trafford in the distance, and it's like you can get to go to there every match because you've got the privilege of going to that match, it's sensational. It's amazing to have it so close to where you live and you don't have to travel as far. When Manchester United have scored, it's amazing.
And Giggs, and still, and a chance. Oh, easy for Van Nistelrooy.
The whole thing lightens up. Everyone will start to chant more, and it's like, wow. I think it is a special place because it's not like every other football team's ground, and it's like, yeah, this is different.
Okay, so hopefully you found that quite a useful clip. I certainly do, in terms of making me think about why people might go on Hajj and what they might experience there. Now, what I'd like you now to do is just to do a little 5 bullet points in your book, or you can draw around your hand so you've got a sense per finger. It's up to you. And so you've got hear, smell, taste, touch and see. Okay, if you don't know what your 5 senses are by now, then I suggest you go back to year 1. So you've got ear, hear, sound. I'm rubbish. Sound, smell, taste, touch, and see. And what I'd like you to do is to come up with ideas of what it would be like on Hajj. What would it sound? What sounds would you hear? What would you smell? What would the scent be? What would it taste like in the air? What would it touch? What are you hoping to touch, and what are you seeing as well? So pause me now and really start to think into a little bit about what it would be like on Hajj. Okay, so today then what we've done is said it'd be good if we could describe what Hajj is, great if you can explain what happens or why it's an important event for Muslims, and even better if you can make a piece of work that shows all of the requirements within it. Now, this might be a little bit small to see, but it's a little structure for you for your written report. Now, you might remember at the end of the last lesson, I gave you a structure for a potential written report, or some sentence starters. You can go back and look at that. That's in the last video, probably just above this one in the playlist if you're accessing it through the Year 9 playlist. Basically, how this works, you start at the bottom of the triangle and you work to the top. Now, for some of you, you might only have this lesson. For others of you, you might have another lesson of RS as well. And if that's the case, then do double check with your teacher, but I think they would probably quite like you to spend a bit of time on this. So at the bottom of the pyramid is the minimum, it's accurate information. So you're going to write, the question is in the orange at the top there, create a detailed report about what happens on Hajj and why. Include the way it changes a Muslim. Okay, so you're really thinking about what it's like to be a Muslim going on Hajj at this point. So it starts with a little bit of accurate information at the bottom. Excuse me. Then you've got key terms, so you're making sure you're getting the spellings of Ibrahim and Mecca and Kaaba correct. Then you've got use of quotes, which I'll go over in a minute. So quotes from the Quran, where you've done a little bit of analysis with that. There's some influences as well. How is that going to change a Muslim? That's obviously part of the question. Different viewpoints. Why might some Muslims disagree? And then overall, is it excellent or highly detailed? So I'm just going to put this up on the screen. Now behind me, and I'm going to get out of the way, is a 3 quotes that are from the Quran about why Muslims would potentially go to Mecca, what their requirements are for that. You've obviously got the video clips and stuff that you've seen earlier, and this is meant to take you the rest of the time that you've got. So I'm going to leave it there, and some of you might take a lesson and a half, some of you might just take the next half an hour or so, but the more depth you can put in this, the better, because we'd like you to send that to us. We'd like to have a look as your teachers so that we can see the work you've done, we can assess it, we can give you some feedback, because even if you're doing this at home, it's still important. You're still important to us. Trust us on that. Okay, so let me get it over there. There we are. So thanks very much for your time. Take care of yourself, stay safe, wash hands, God bless you. Pause this clip, and I'll see you next time.